Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant, and today I am going to be continuing my work on trying to learn my machine learning project. So this right here is what we've been working on for the past couple days, and what it does is I can just run this. What is the command here? So we're just going to do this. Copy and paste this. Alright, let's copy and paste that into there, and we can see what happens here. So I think it's running right now. Make sure everything is, oh no, something's broken. Uh-oh. Okay. Train Python. Hold on. We're doing run. That's why. Hold on. So run, and now this should work, and then I can kind of go and explain what's happening and get ourselves refreshed on what's happening in the project, and then start moving forward with today's. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so I have this run.py, and that is this Python script that I made in the last video. And what it does is I'm just getting these arguments that I pass in, which are model, Linnet, dataset, MNIST, okay? And then I am capturing, see that? So here's our loss function. I'm gonna minimize that for right now. But we are parsing the arguments and passing it into main, which is up here, as arg model and arg dataset. So that's how we're able to kind of dynamically choose which model we want to use for our machine learning and what dataset we want to use for this program. So we're able to dynamically choose, like, hey, I want to use this model or I want to use that model. So then based off of the dataset, and notice right here, the only valid dataset is actually this Linnet and MNIST. But the point was, okay, how do you actually get it such that it could dynamically choose one or the other? And we got that. Now, comes here and we do this get MNIST data, which just fetches the data from our data right here. So let me move this over. It's one of those. So anyways, it's just a data set. That's all that does. It gets it, and you get the training data and the testing data. Okay. Then I pass the training data to this train Python script. And what am I passing it to? I'm passing it to its main function. So we have train.py here. Okay, now this is kind of where we're going to run into some issues. So let's be cognizant of this. So remember last time we said that we wanted, if you look here, we have the training loss and the epochs here. But this is only the training data. We actually want the training and the testing data, and we want it mapped over the same number of epochs. And we can't just call, like, rerun epochs, because on the training data, we need to take the training data changes the parameters each epoch. So we can't just train our model and then say, okay, now I'm going to run all of my testing data, and I'm going to do it, 4 epochs. You can't do that, because that doesn't make any sense, because the model has already changed, and you would get like a straight line, like something like this, because this 0 would now be at the end here. Does that make sense? So this 0 testing would be down here, because that 4, what we're seeing here, each time we come here, our parameters are changing. That's why the loss keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So if we train our model, then run all of the epochs, so the 0th, the first epoch that we run, it's going to have these parameters that have been changed such that this is our model now. This is how we say, like, or these are our parameters because we've trained it. We have changed our parameters such that they decrease the loss function. So when we run the 0th epoch of the testing, it's going to be way down here, and then it's going to be straight because during testing we don't actually change the parameters. So that is kind of what we are hoping to do. But the problem that I ran into last time was I have this train here, and inside of the train, while I'm running this here, okay, by the way, here's how we actually, these two functions here are how we actually change the parameters. So then we do this training losses, okay, and this is kind of how we're plotting. Now, here is the test.py, and test.py doesn't have any of these, like, it doesn't have access to run in the train. And how do you mesh the two together? Because I could just do a whole bunch of parameters like in test losses. Guess you can't see that because I'm losses, kind of like that. Although I'm just gonna get rid of that. It's misspelled and we don't want to do it that way. But the reason that I don't want to do it that way is because it seems extremely messy, and then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of 10,000 parameters, and every single function that I write is gonna have so many parameters, and it does not seem like a good way to perform these operations at all. So right now in this video, what I'm gonna try to figure out is how do I actually accomplish this in a more sustainable way. So let's start looking at it. Well, the first thing that I'm thinking is there a way that I can have, so I pass in this train, and then maybe I can just get back the losses, right? Like, train losses, like this, and then test losses, like this. Then from here, no, I can't do that. Because again, the problem is that test has no access to train. Okay. By the way, if you guys haven't figured this out, the videos that I'm making right now are not from a professional. This is from someone who's just trying to do projects, trying to improve their skills in software engineering, trying to move forward and become a reasonable developer. Like, so right now, I legitimately don't know how I'm going to accomplish this, and I am grasping at straws to try to figure this out. So here's my test. Okay. See, I can do, where is it? Test loader, right? And I can get the predicted, and then I can test the accuracy here in test, but this is only one time. It's not dynamically as train is actually being iterated through, because I would need some way here to be able to access the training data, And that's what I was saying. I could put the training data here, but now all of a sudden I also need to put the training data here so that I can pass it in to the training here. And this is getting very complex. Um, um, well, hmm, darn. This is it's a little bit of a head scratcher. And I feel like this is something that I have no idea how to actually train myself. Like, how do you study this? I think I would have to work with large scale projects. And I'm thinking, okay, what access to large scale projects do I have? The only thing that I can think of is like open source. So if I have an opportunity, I think it would definitely be beneficial to try to do open source or look at open source and see how they do large scale projects, because this is more like an organizational thing. Like, how do I actually organize each of these functions? And I'm highly suspicious that there is some kind of object oriented paradigm that solves this and makes this exact thing that I'm kind of struggling with very efficient. But I'm not sure about it's something that I just don't know and I haven't happened upon before. So I'm trying to figure out where do I even go to search this, right? Like, how do I search this? Um what um okay. I'm just going to think a little bit more. So, if I had run.py, and let's pretend I had run.py and this had both everything in train.py and everything in test.py all in one file. It was all there. Would I have access to it? Well, I mean, I could make a global variable, right? Which was common to the entire file. Okay. Does that help me? And can I translate that into anything that I can think of with object orientated? So I know object orientated, you can have member variables, and those member variables are part of the entire class's scope. So that I my brain says there is some connection to what I just said with one major file, one big file that has everything with global variables, and this idea of an object with member variables of the scope of the entire thing. So could I do something like this, where the sun is beaming down, where I don't know if this is going to work. How would this? Oh, the other thing that I want to do is I want to version control this. So I'm going to go to Copilot. I have a folder because I'm about to change things and I don't want to completely mess things up. So I'm going to try to version control things. Again, the point of this these series is to learn concepts that are important for software engineering, learn concepts that can help you become a better developer. And version control obviously is extremely important. And also something, I maybe shouldn't admit this, that I have essentially zero experience with. Zero. All of my school work that I've done, it was just me developing it, so I didn't have any need for version control. And now at work, all of my projects are just me developing it, so I don't have any need for version control, right? So both things, school was just me doing my projects, no need for version control. Work is just me doing my projects, no need for version control. So it's very, I haven't had any experience with version control. So I have a folder of files of Python scripts and data sets that I am let's see, data sets. As of right now, my project is working, but I want to make some changes. Before I make any changes, I want to start version control so that if I break anything, I can go back to the original working condition. How would you suggest I do this? I am on a MacBook. Okay. Oh, I ran out of my tea. That's a great idea, yeah. Install Git. I think I already have Git. Let me check that. Git /s version. Okay. Git version. Oh. Version. Okay, here we are. So yeah, I already have Git. Brew install Git. I don't need to do that. Git configure. I don't think I need to do that. I already have all this. Git init. Okay, git add dot. Okay. Git init. Has too many active changes. Only a subset of Git features will be enabled. What does that mean? When git init. Okay. Okay. This warning typically indicates that you have a large number of changes or files in your directory, which may be too many for Git to handle efficiently in a single operation. So, I mean, I'm just asking, like, is it breaking anything? I don't know what this means, kind of. Instead of adding all files at once, try adding files in smaller batches to avoid. So, too many active changes. I think the only thing that I actually need to version control would be this file, this file, this file, this file, this file, and then this file. All of the Python scripts and the shell script, right? Monitor disk usage, okay. Let's see, but I just did init and have not added any files yet. So why is it upset that there are too many files? Okay. That's an unusual situation. When you run git init, it shouldn't be upset about the number of files you have until you try to add them. Exactly. Exactly. Directory size. If your project directory contains very large number of files, examples, many data sets here, maybe this is it, Git might preemptively warn you about potential performance issues. Maybe it's just like a preemptive thing. Only a subset of Git features will be enabled. Okay. Let me do Git status. Okay. So no commits yet. On branch. So what is this? These are my what was the term? Unstaged? Because you do staged, and then it goes to, you do the git add, so you add, so then you stage it, and then you do commit, which is like the branch, like the node in the branch. If that is kind of what I remember of version control. Oh, and now look at these. They're U. That means unchanged or unstaged or something like that. Untracked. Untracked. I think it means untracked. So let's start adding things. So what do I want to do? Git add. And then how do I selectively add Python files to my Git? I don't know what to call it. Version control? Sure. So git add, git init, git status, add. Can I add both in the same line? Absolutely. Here we go. Add, and then it's just a space, so there's no comma or something. So git add run.py test.py train.py train.sh. Okay. Got this one, got this one, got this one, got this one. Need to get this one. Data sets.py, and then linet.py. Linet.py. Okay. Linet.py. Oh, it's because linet.py is within my modules directory. So we can do this. Models. I believe it would be like this. Models. Okay, here, let me let's just first add this, and then we'll do Linet. Okay, so we added everything, so we should be able to do git status, and now all of those are traced. Okay, but we still don't have this models here. So I want to do git add models, and then lanet.py. Okay, so get status. Okay, so now I've tracked all of that. Okay. I want to do git commit, and then I remember -m, and then these, you have to have a comment. So this is currently working, but I need to make changes going forward into the future. Okay. Okay. I think we got it. And by the way, I want to be very clear. Like when I said I have very little experience with version control, what I mean by that is um, like I don't have consistent use of version control. So I have by myself tried to learn version control. I have spent time practicing it, kind of like what I'm doing here, right? So if you're looking at it and like, oh, well, you knew all of this, or why don't I know something like this, right? Like, don't be upset if you don't know it, right? I previously practiced, so that's how I was able to take this information on Copilot, and it kind of made sense to me really quickly because, oh, I've already practiced it. So that's why I say like it's a really important just to get exposure with things and practice, because even if you don't do it in the professional sense, even if you don't do it on the large scale sense, I think it allows your like subconscious to be able to quickly identify it, recognize how to do it, and be like, oh, okay, I think I know how to do it. But as you'll see, if I need to actually utilize Git, all I've done is kind of like the committing. I haven't done anything with the trying different branches, doing all the. Actually, I have tried different branches, but have I done it successfully? I don't know. But anyways, so okay. Well, now what do we do? Now we can play around with it, I think. Now we can see if we want to try something out. So what I was thinking is we have this test.py, okay? Actually, let me go to train.py. I want to turn this into a class, maybe. And then this class, I can pass in things to this, like, init. So instead of main, I'll have, like, an init. And this init will initialize a global variable or a member variable. And that member variable will be able to be accessed from here. That's kind of the direction which I'm headed. So, ooh, now we get green lines. Look at that. So, what? So, how do I even declare a class? Okay. Class name parent. Okay. Class name is going to be train. No inheritance here. Okay. Then def init self. Def dunder init. So ooh, Python knew what I was going for. Okay, and now we don't need this main anymore. All I need to do is set up criterion. Okay, so train loader model. So copy this here, and then I'm gonna have here like this, and now we can do the self. So self.optimizer and self.criterion. Okay. So model.parameters, that's something that I passed in, right? Like, how did I call this main? So from here, so when I do the init, it will need train and model. So from my main, what I'll now have to do is training object equals train, like this. So it's a class, and then I pass in these two things, okay? Ooh, the sun is shining pretty bright. So now I passed both of those in, and it goes to this init function here, right? And so I need to capture it. So the first one is the data. The second one is the model. So train loader and model. So train loader and model. Okay, so now these are happy. And now I have access to the criterion. Okay. What is the other thing that I need to do? I need to get plotting train losses. I don't need to actually do this train losses yet. So this function for train can be tabbed over, which means that it is now a member of a method within this training class. Okay. Now I want to initialize those losses. So self.train losses okay, like this. And then self.test losses like this, okay? Now, notice we're not getting a conflict, and that's because these are actually two different variables. This one is train losses. This one is, or self.train losses. This one is train losses, which is it's not the member variable of the class. So we're actually going to need to essentially delete this one later. But right now I'm just trying to get the organization kind of working. Okay. So I don't think we need this anymore. Okay. I don't think we need this main anymore either, but I'm not going to delete it yet. Okay. So train loader. So I should capture the training data, right? So self.train loader equals train loader. Okay. So I'm just saving this into this member variable. Now I don't want model because I've I need to capture the model as well. So self.model equals model. Okay, so something else that I'm noticing, this model might be extremely large. This training data might be extremely large. So I feel like if I need to do this for every single class that I'm making, every single class has all of the other, and I should be able to reuse things, right? I think, what would this be? Like inheritance. Inheritance should have something to do with this. So would I say that run is like the parent object? But then run itself is creating a training object. So I have like a recursion loop that's occurring. Oof. Okay. So now I don't need to do this model, I think. I don't need this model. I don't need this training loader. I don't need this. I don't need this. Let's see, number of epochs is going to be 5. Okay. So self.model. Okay. Why is that squiggly? So self is not defined. Oh, because we need every single thing needs a self. Okay. Self.model self.training losses number of epochs. Okay. Self.training loader self.optimizer. I'm just going to copy and paste the self. Okay. Loss.backwards. Why is that? Not there. Well, so right now, not exactly sure where that loss actually came from, and it's not like keyed, or it's not highlighted, like it's white, which makes me think that there's an error. So I don't know. From my run, can I do this? And it's gonna do the init, and then I do whatever, like training object dot train, and then that here can take in, I think I can have no arguments because this just defaults to 5. Does this work? Let me save this and try to run it. What do we think? Module object not callable. Okay. So I'm just gonna put that error into GPT. And then copy this and put the error in. Is occurring because the name of the class train conflicts with the module name train that you imported at the beginning of your script. To resolve this, you can either rename the class or use an alias for the imported module. So, trainer, okay, whatever. Sure, let's do that. Trainer. And then from here, trainer. Okay. Well, why is it bad now? So, trainer, init, trained, main. And then down here, I do trainer. Yeah. So I'm not seeing where that is actually getting its, like, I don't know, man. So let me just copy and paste this. Copy and paste. So now does it work? Like, it's still underlined dot train. Well, I don't know, actually. So why would this not be callable? So can I do, where did I import it? Train. Can I do like train dot trainer? Like from that module, I'm instantiating this object. Man, train losses is not defined. Train losses dot append. Oh, it's self dot train losses. Okay. And now I want to capture from my run. I want to capture these train losses. Okay, so I do this. Train. So I have train losses equals here. Then I can just do this. Just copy all this. And now you see why I didn't delete my main function. So I come here and do that, and it should show it, I think. So let me save everything and run it again. If we start seeing epoch, we know that at least something is running. And then if we see the graph, okay, so at least something is running. So we are able to call that class or that object. And now let's see if we're able to get the data back and if we are able to graph it. I still do not think that this is a very efficient way of handling data, because if our data sets, okay, so we are able to plot it, So if our data sets are extremely large, and each class needs to capture those extremely large data sets as member variables, that's going to be incredibly inefficient. So the question is, how do you mitigate that? So if I had one, what if I had like one class which was like ML model or something? I don't know, like parent class, something like that. Like it was called parent class. And then this class had, let's kind of try that. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it will. So I'm going to call it, I don't want to use the word parent because that might be a keyword. So I'm going to call it father class dot py. Okay, so now class father inherits from nothing because it's going to be the father. Now we have def init, okay, and now this one should have all of those member variables part of it. So self dot training losses. It's like this. Now I'm going to try to go into this one. Inherit from father. Maybe like import father class. Okay. Father class dot father. Okay. Now I'm actually going to remove that thing that I put. So training losses. Self dot training losses. I'm just going to get rid of that and see if everything still works. Because if it does, that means that I have access to it. So far nothing immediately crashed, which is always a nice sign. Okay, so we are getting data. So now what I'm thinking is if I have this trainer class, this one right here, and it inherits from a father class, and then I can have the test class, which also inherits from that father class. Then what I can do is I can save. Okay, so it works here. See? Now what I should be able to do is have both. I can have 1,000 different classes. All of them inherit from the same father class. And I only need to keep track of the very large, let's just say a huge data set one time in the father, and then I can manipulate it from the children. That's what I'm thinking I can do. Although I don't know if that's true, because where am I instantiating this. I think that the train.py has a different... No, I think I'm still just instantiating it every time that I make a new class, right? Because I think train, let's say that both train and test, so train and test, both of them are classes, both of them inherit from father class, and father class has huge amounts of data. I think I would still be in the case, or I would still be instantiating that huge amount of data twice, because I think that the member variables, which are train.py is accessing from its parent class, is actually different than the variable or the member variables that test.py is accessing through its parent class. So how do you organize this in a cohesive manner? I really don't know. So what I'm thinking is possibly I need to start looking at larger scale projects and just going through code and reading other people's code and trying to see how large scale projects are organized, and then from that I can start to get a feeling for, okay, I kind of see how architecture is. So I might have to actually stop this series right now, go and try to get those necessary software engineering skills, then I might be able to come back to this project once I have those skills. But as of right now, I'm just going to be creating a very convoluted, very inefficient, very bad project, and I'm not going to be learning anything. Because if I'm just randomly doing things, I'm not going to randomly happen upon a great way of organizing something, right? That's not something which is just you give someone a keyboard and they randomly type and eventually they learn how to do it, right? Like that. This is something that needs to be studied, and you need to not just randomly do it. And right now, if I continue with this, it's just going to get more convoluted, more hectic, more inefficient. So I need to go as, okay, time to go learn those software engineering skills. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do right now, is put this project on ice and then come back. I'm going to start a new series, which is trying to learn those software engineering concepts, object-oriented concepts, project organizational concepts, and then from there I can return back to this project. But before I learn those skills, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to just wander in the desert and not make any progress. So that's how I'm going to be moving forward. And if that is interesting to you, if you want to see those videos where I'm trying to teach myself software engineering, software development skills, then subscribe. That would be awesome. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys soon in the next video I make that is how to learn software engineering. That's gonna be fun. I don't really know what I'm gonna do in that video, but we'll figure out. I'm gonna try to figure out which concepts are really important for software engineering, software development, and then just try to think about how to actually go about practicing that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you